This is the Red Yellow Show with me, Josh Everton, Andy Simcox, Alan Smith, and Craig Wood. We're going to be reacting to last night's frustrating 2-2 draw with Bolton Wanderers, previewing Lincoln City at the weekend, and also providing an update on the mini prediction league as we come into the final game week. And Andy, is it also play for, or has it already been wrapped up?
No, it's not wrapped up.
That's good
It's
to
not.
hear.
It's
That is
not
good
wrapped
to
up
hear.
at all.
Right, let's get into it. So, Al, one of those yesterday. Before game, it were as Craig mentioned, a not lose game, but being 2-0 up, being pegged back to 2-2, obviously 19th minute as well, equalising penalty. A little bit of a frustrating one when you actually get the context of the game and felt very reminiscent of Peterborough away.
It is two top sides, 2-0 up, and we'll let them get back into the game and peg it back, don't we? Uh, Good press by MDG to get ball for McAtee's first goal. 1-0 half time. You think, come on, let's push on there. That we defended well in the first half, I thought, against them. And come out second half, got that quick goal by Donny Pines. Donny Pines, 2-2, eh? USA, eh? What can you say? And then you think, it's a winnable game, this. But now it all changed, didn't it? They got back into it, same as Wycombe Wanderers. Wycombe Wanderers scored from a quick throw-in. Bolton scored from a quick quick free kick. And there were four out referee. We didn't set up right. We got caught out, and we paid the price for Victor to score 2-1. So they've got up and ran. And I thought second half, at last 25 minutes, it was all Bolton Wanderers. We took Cole off, didn't we? And he come on. We'd only got one striker on bench, Sam Cosgrove. And to be honest, it didn't work. One up front didn't work. He couldn't hold ball, and then they just kept counter attacking. We threw bodies online, which were good. The chance they had three chances and bodies online. And Liam Roberts made a good save when he were through 1-on-1. And then you're thinking, oh, where's he get 8 minutes from? I'm thinking, where's he get 8 minutes from? And we're there in Ponty, and Jed's saying 3 minutes have gone, 4 minutes have gone, we're counting down. And then just before they got penalty, I couldn't believe it. Referee at linesman straight at side on West Stand side, and he ended up, what it now, there, number 5,
Ricardo
ended up
Santos.
Santos, went through, just pushed Cosgrove. I'm thinking that's a free kick to us. Play on. No problem, play on. And then they went straight up there and got penalty. Dubious, I don't know. It is what it is. But I will say this, good save by Roberts, but our player switched off on 18-yard line and not D. We switched off. We weren't quick enough to react. Their goal scorer were quick. And to be honest, that's only a downside. 2 goals we conceded where we were switched off.
I think there's obviously a lot to unpack in that, Craig, in that game. Obviously, there's you can look at it tactically in a way of obviously pressing high. It seemed to almost shock Bolton. Obviously, that first goal coming from them, Tomlinson thinking he got time to turn, and MDG giving none of that, nicked it, and we scored. And obviously, it's almost human nature at that point of when you concede one. You're in a rock and a hard place. Do you sit back and defend it, or do you carry on pressing with the opportunity that if they play around it once, we're going to be light at the back and they're going to have numbers going forward? And obviously, just physicality comes into it as well. At the end, they're pressing and sprinting so hard for so long. You can only do it for that period of time. There's going to be a drop-off point, and it's almost like we hit it just a little bit too early. I think if Bolton scored that first goal 5, 10 minutes later, we'd probably grind out doing it for 20 minutes. We do it for half an hour, it were almost inevitable. Well, ended up nearly 40 minutes we had of time. It was inevitable that they were going to get that one chance.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of different things. I think the match, the way it went. I mean, we started off. I think it was pretty nervy for both sides. I don't think either side really wanted to extend themselves. We got that beautiful clearance from Williams off the line. Gethin Jones played in Adebayo and were played in by Adebayo, and then he did like a cross slash shot, popped up off Roberts, went in air, and Collins were in there, but Williams got there first and cleared it offline. So um, the pressing side of the game, we were playing. It seems like we play with two formations, because when we're defending, Robert Phillips drops into midfield. But when we're pressing, he's on that right wing, and then we get Devante Cole on left wing, and then we've got McAtee through middle, and that's how we press. And we pressed them really well because they had a five at back, so obviously one per man. And MDG, obviously that left them with a free man in midfield, and that's when MDG would step up. He would then go into midfield and press their spare midfielder, so to speak. So we're doing that all game. And on the other side, Josh Earl were doing it if it were coming down their right hand side, which were our left. Um, and that worked beautifully for 60 minutes, 65 minutes. I think Collins has to take a little bit. I think he should have made substitutions earlier. I think Cole stopped pressing after 65, 70 minutes. He just completely get up and started dropping in. You saw Conor Grant continuing to press. You saw Phillips continuing to press, and then he just dropped back. So I think he were exhausted. He should have Cosgrove should have come on a lot earlier than he did to able to keep that energy up. But you know what? Looking back at the game, I said it were a must not lose, and we didn't lose. So I'm obviously I'm disappointed in the way it happened last minute. A referee again. I mean, it just seems like whenever we get his noses in front, they're determined to get us pegged back no matter what. I mean, it's happened a few times this season when we've gone ahead. It's just like they'll do anything to try and get it so it ends up in a draw. But I thought Conor Grant, when he come on, I thought he showed some good touches, some good movement on and off the ball. I also think he's getting to know the system a little bit better because his pressing were a lot better than what I've seen when he's come on in previous games. Mael were outstanding today, yesterday as well. Roberts, I mean, get this guy signed up. Stop pandering. Just get it. I know it's not window or anything, but talks need to start now. We've got to keep him. And normally he's the unsung hero of the midfield. Herbie Kane, he was our best player yesterday. He run his socks off, run his blood to water. He really did constantly all game. And ultimately, it come down to their substitutions against ours. They made theirs a lot better than we made ours. They made theirs early. As soon as they got that goal back, I think Ian Evatt knew it was time to fetch on fresh legs because he knew the crowd would be back on their side from their fans because they were quiet up until they got a goal. Let's be honest. Magoma changed it, but Varson coming on gave Pines a lot to worry about as well, which means we're struggling a bit in defence as well. Um, and I think ultimately that's what it come down to, just them changes, and us being exhausted and running out of energy. But you know what? we I think it says a lot when we're walking away disappointed and they're celebrating like they've just won promotion. They've come to our ground after getting it up big and like they're going to wipe us all over. If you looked on Twitter before, people were saying 4-1, 5-1, they're going to beat us, and they got a draw and they celebrated like they just won a cup. I mean, we're walking away disappointed. Our standards are up here. We're not happy. Uh, we're a draw. We wanted the win. Let them be happy with their draw.
It's only like when Angus McGowan got that equalised against Wednesday, Craig. We've done it.
Yeah, but I think also in context of it, it's still in our hands. We win rest of his games.
Exactly. They've
Bolton,
not met
Bolton can't do anything about it. Like it's still, granted, we're not going to win all those games, but we're still in a better. The draw better for us than it was for them.
We still well.
I think.
If we win this game in hand, which is about a few weeks off now, but we'll. I think we've got one more goal in goal difference than they have, so we're +1 on them. So I mean, if we win our game in hand, we're going to be above them anyway. So what they're celebrating for?
Yeah, it's
Well, they're celebrating because they've gone second. They'd have been fourth without that goal. It's just one of them. It's just a game of football, isn't it? It don't mean out in the great scheme of things unless it does right at the end of the season. At the minute, it done. I thought we started off really, really well. I were good. It were good to see McAtee start, and we didn't expect him to start, so that were a bit sneaky that we got him in. No doubt for the pressing because they played out from the back. Um, and they were getting caught a couple of times. They were in danger of getting caught, and as Alan said, the plate out Pratibart again at back. I don't know why. I don't even know why you tap Bolt at goalkeeper for him just to launch it forward. I don't get any of that. But they did it, and Mile got in there and got under him, and they were finally undone by it. And it's just we see it so many times. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And so we were on top, and another great goal by Pines. What I do like about Pines, apart from everything else. Um, Unlike a lot of players across lots of teams and divisions and what have you, that wait for the ball from a corner or a free kick, wait for the ball to come to him, he goes for it, he goes to it. We played in and Devanti got under it and tried to lay it off, and it took us and Donny were on it like a good one and smacked it in. So 2-0 up, and we're all singing "Hey Jude," aren't we? It's all good stuff. We just run out of steam, and I agree that the substitutions should have been earlier because both Devante Cole and John McAtee were absolutely dead on the feet and it weren't that they didn't want to press, they just couldn't do any more. They pressed that much. So that needed to change and a lot sooner. It meant that they started overrunning us in midfield. We speak again in midfield. So I understand why he brought Conor Grant on to get an extra midfielder in there. But Alan says we got caught again. It did irritate me a little bit that we tried to take a quick free kick and we did take a quick free kick and referee stopped us and played it back when we'd gone clear from their play, but he didn't then. And it's only a small thing, but I just think if you're going to let quick free kicks go like that, then let it go. Don't pull one back and then not pull other backs. Just a bit irritating.
Almost as
Really.
though that referee, who's apparently a lifelong Wednesday fan,
Oh, I don't care about that.
Didn't want us to win it.
Well, if he had he'd have risen himself at far post like Brian Glover in Kes and nodded it in for him, wouldn't he? I don't think it was that. But I do. I mean, a lot of Barnsley fans. I'm with Alan that Cosgrove were just wiped out just before they went upfield and got the penalty. Absolutely wiped out. And the linesman, assistant referee, is about 5 yards away. Nothing. You can't play on when somebody's just sent flying. That's just crazy.
He
Absolutely
nearly
crazy.
took the linesman out mid-flight.
And then, they go upfield, and I tell you what, Cameron Jerome, I know some Barnsley fans saying Stonewall. No way on God's earth were that Stonewall. Down he went. Who knew that Cameron Jerome, in the 95th minute, when balls played into the box near him, he'd go down? Who knew? I don't think that were a penalty. I think
he dropped at floor and Earl fell over him.
Absolutely, that
fell over him.
I know. It's a matter of opinions, isn't it? People have lots of different opinions.
Yeah, it was soft. Very soft.
Stonewall, it was soft. I don't actually think it was soft. I don't think it were a penalty. And I'd also said this, but I'm not going to get mealy-mouthed about it. I'll also say this. The D at edge at box is there for a purpose. They've got a really good technique that as the guys taking the penalty, a couple of their guys set off running from outside towards if it rebounded. They got in front of people. The one that scored were actually inside the D when the penalty were taken. So, but technically it shouldn't have been allowed because you're inside the D and you're not supposed to be. But that's been merely mild, and I don't care. I thought it were a great technique that as the kickers, lining up and set off running to take the kick, they set from outside the box, they set off running so that they've got that speed, if you like, before anybody else can react. So that were well done to them. I don't know if they work on that, but if they do, great technique, and we ought to learn from that.
I think
we
on
get
that
a penalty.
On that though, just stick a defender with him. Stand someone next to him. Like
each one of them. We didn't have anybody with two players.
No, each one of them. Which I get why you settle defensively because you're hoping the keeper pushes it to a side. So then you obviously need people on sort of edge at D to then run sort of in line with post to clear anything that comes out in that way. Coming back right into the centre is always awkward because you've got penalty taker who's literally going to be first person on the scene, and then him running in Randall Williams. when he comes from that D, just stand someone there to even if the
Block him off. Just
block or
block him
slow his
off.
run, like make him run round someone so he's not with first person. There is
The
my
issue
gripe with
was
that.
is if you looked from behind the taker, we had 4 guys on the left side and we only had 1 guy on the right hand side. That was the issue. If we had 2 on either side and all running at the same time, I reckon they wouldn't be able to get through as fast.
I
But
Yeah,
we
watched
were,
it
we were
back.
crowded
No,
on one side.
I watched it back, and no disrespect, Barry Cotter stood in no man's land behind him. Why would he stood that deep?
He's probably his fastest player from a start as well.
That's what I'm saying.
mm.
He should have, yeah, he should have been, yeah, he should have been getting ready to do
Should
something.
have been with
So
those 2 Bolton players on edge at D.
they were all flat-footed. It were a good technique by Bolton. It were well done for them, and a good save. A good save. And let's be right. It's very disappointing to lose to such a close rival that have made such a difference for us in the 95th minute. But it were coming. It were absolutely
Oh
coming.
yeah.
You could have actually won it, Andy, and
I actually, yeah, I
top.
actually thought we were going to win 2-1 because it were going to be one of them games where they were chucking everything forward, and we were, we got Roberts saving it, we got defenders blocking, and you thought if they play till midnight, it's going to be 2-1 to us because it's one of them games that they're just not good, like we have sometimes, that they're just not going to score. I were really, really impressed with our defence that we blocked so much. That I've seen too many times in the past where we've stood watching. Oh, has he shot? Oh, he's scored. No.
Did anybody see Donovan Pines doing the salmon? He dove with both his hands outside like that.
Oh
It was
yeah,
like a salmon.
yeah.
That
I
was
actually
hilarious.
I watched it back. You were lucky there. He tugged him. That's why I did it. They could have had another penalty,
And
pulled him back as you were going in.
and on another one where it were blocked, and then there were another shot come in. I'm sure I saw MDG handball it, and it go
I
out
think
for a
he just
corner, but nobody saw it. It might. I don't know. It either hit him in the stomach or chest or arm, but it were over there. So, but yeah.
let's
No,
not go
so
there.
right, come off a
You
knee
didn't
if I've ever seen it. To
you
be
didn't
honest,
eight posts and then 2 blocks by him.
To be honest, it is opposite side to camera I'm watching, so
yeah,
It were
it's all
coming.
right,
yeah.
Craig. You're not in VAR room there trying to call it. I do.
But
It is
credit
one
to our
thing that's
fans for
been.
last night. They were immense. Our fans were immense last night.
Yeah, brilliant,
Both
brilliant.
sides.
It's nice to see. I think as well, obviously, on that point about defending and bodies online, it is something that we have missed at times this season. Of sort of not that being lethargic defensively, but we've just missed that getting everyone behind the ball. I think back to that Exeter game when we did everything but score. That's what we saw from there
Yeah.
from them of putting everything on the line and blocking it. And I don't care what anyone says in terms of like, oh well, we battered your defenders. Like, well, yeah, but that doesn't matter because it didn't go in, and by hook or by crook, it wasn't going in. So from like because I don't think the stats of that game really tell the story necessarily from the first 60 minutes to the last 30 of when Bolton had 3, 4 chances all at once. I think their XG are almost 5 to our 1. And it's not really fair given that they had the penalty, the rebound, and then them 3 or 4 shots that didn't go in and somehow it posts, which it's not exactly a fair reflection of the game when you look at the context of it. But it's nice to see sort of that progression from the start of the season where we struggle against these top end sides to the point now where we're coming away from these games thinking
We're the celebrating to rafters that they're going to draw against us. Yeah, big
exactly
change.
that.
The only thing that disappointed, the thing that they deserved a point. I mean, it was
Oh,
saddening
make
for
your
us.
mind up. Are you a Barnsley fan
No,
or a
they
neutral?
did deserve it. The one thing I didn't
Wash
like,
your mouth out, man.
I
one
know.
thing I didn't like was George Thomason. They got the penalty, and he's there in front of
Screamed
Barnsley,
in his face. Yeah.
a couple of times and getting it all that. I just think, grow up. I understand, 95th minute gets a penalty, and I just think, grow up. You like your manager. You're being a
Show
clever head.
some class. Yeah.
Yeah, have a bit
Well,
of exactly that.
Ian Everett's an hypocrite because when they played Wigan, he complained at the Bolton their players, Wigan going to Bolton fans and celebrating. What did they do at penalty? Went straight to our east stand and celebrated and tried to rile our fans up. So sorry, Ian Everett.
Well, they riled me up, pal. No, they didn't tell. They didn't. I'm too old
I
to be
mean,
riled up about stuff like that.
what's it like complaining then, and then all the players go and do it at our ground? Come on.
I think my favourite thing with Thomason doing that is it's a lot of audacity, a lot of attitude for someone that's gifted his first goal.
I was
If it
just
weren't
about to
if
say the same
if it
thing.
weren't for him, you walk away 3 points. So the fact you're celebrating that to nick a draw, which to be fair, penalty's been saved. It's a lot of attitude, a lot of audacity for someone that's lost them 3 points. Because if he'd not made that mistake and game pans out the way it did, they win 2-1.
It's
So
it's actually really funny as well because if you actually look at the title race going into it, I mean, Portsmouth and Bolton have both got to play 4 more of the top 6 teams. Us and Derby's only got to play 2 more at top 6. So the can, I mean, celebrate when you know you're actually going to get somewhere, but don't celebrate like that when no, it's been decided yet.
I don't
yeah.
mind somebody celebrating,
I'm going to replay them. Do you know if they get knocked out in playoffs or if they don't or whatever? I'm just going to be replaying that throughout my Twitter all next year. You watch.
Well, if you do that, Craig, see if you can put a clown's head on him or something like that, so
What you never?
get me up. No, so I can get my own back on for me. Well,
Right. I think that just about wraps up yesterday's frantic 2-2 draw. So we'll move on to Lincoln City at the weekend. So manager Michael Skubala, still in charge. I think last time we played him was his first league game in charge of
was
Lincoln was when we played us.
first home game, yeah.
So there's now a lot of sample size look at from his tenure. Form draw, 3 wins draw. So looks like the form's picking up quite well recently. Top scorer Sorensen and Hackett Fairchild both on 6. Sat 10th in the league on 52 points. Key player Sorensen, who's having a tremendous season, and formation, which is an absolute pain for me because it looks like they're playing 3 formations roughly over the last couple of weeks. So 3-5-2, but then it's basically a variation of that of it being 3-4-1-2 or 3-3-4-2-1 instead. So it looks like they're playing with
I
that
can help you out
3-5-2.
if you like. As you know, nobody else
Yes.
knows. I've done an away end show with Jake Tong, which will be out Thursday at about 7 o'clock. It'll upload then.
I
He
like how you're
says
saying that like it's not scheduled to go out at that time.
that's what it'll go out. It'll go out. He says it's basically the same formation as us.
Hmm. I
They
assumed it
used
would
to
be
play
looking
with
at it.
they used to play with three up front, but they've got strikers. But they've actually got strikers on the pitch this time. So they're playing with 2 strikers, 3 across midfield, 2 wing backs who press very high, and 3 at the back. So
Interesting.
it
So
will
Andy's
be.
done an away end if you can't tell. And we've got one coming up.
I've been a bit naughty on it as well. It's worth watching because I've been well out of order, Wade. Well out of order.
It didn't sound like you. Like when we
No,
send you away to do something where you're not being supervised or observed.
I know,
It's
wrong.
very out of character. Craig, how do you feel about this one? Because obviously Lincoln, one of them sides that I feel like we historically, well, recently, seem to struggle against them when we play them. And obviously looking at their form at the minute, 2 draws, three wins in the last 5.
Well,
Looks like a good team.
they're actually 10 unbeaten since the last loss. But if you, it's like they've got a top half table that they always draw against, and the bottom half of the table the win against. Because the wins are against Burton, Fleetwood, Exeter, Port Vale, and Shrewsbury, and the draws are Wickham, Derby, Peterborough, Charlton, and Stevenage. So it's like um, just a couple of facts about them as well is they've conceded the second lowest amount of goals this season. Only second to Pompey, I think.
Pompey. Yeah, it is.
Um,
It is.
so, and another interesting fact is normally they don't have the most possession. Normally they're around 40%, 40 to 45%, which means generally they're a counter-attacking side that use a trigger press with a press when a certain action is taken. So that's normally a bad touch or something similar. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this because I think we've got a real chance at playing well against them. Um, uh, I was just look reading another stat as well. After the last 10, oh yeah, 9 times out of our last 10 games, both teams have scored, but only 3 times out of the last 10 games they've scored that they've played, both teams scored. They also have only conceded 1 goal in the last 5 games. So they really are on the crest of a wave. But I'm feeling good because the way we're playing at the minute, as long as we don't let this Bolton damage us in any way, I think it's going to be a real intense game by some two good young teams. And listening to their fans, they're still holding out for the playoffs. Maybe I know they're 10th at the minute, but the form going in, 10 games to go. Yeah,
About
there's a
eight
chance.
points behind, don't they? I think they're
Yeah,
about
there's a
8 points behind.
chance.
I've got
So
them
it's
in
going to
my
be
top
tasty.
six. I'm rooting, apart from Saturday. I'm rooting for them. I've got them in. I know we Exeter, but I got them in my top six. I thought they were going to. Well, they are good. They'll come
No,
good
yeah, you've
next
got
season.
Exeter in your top six. What on earth do you know?
I know. Well, we could talk about predictions if you like.
We'll save that for it. We'll
Oh,
save it for a sec.
let me guess 2-1.
It's not going to be hard to think it. Al, obviously, as Craig mentioned there, it's one of those coming off the back of the Bolton result. It goes one or two ways. Do we take it to heart and sort of be a little bit down about it, or do we take it as an opportunity to use it as fuel and fire to move us forward again, which is what you'd prefer us to see doing in a way of using it, because it is disappointing to be sort of so close to that 3 points and to lose it in the manner in which we did as well. It's just frustrating.
It is frustrating, but they won't dwell on it. They'll move on and they'll be up for getting a result on Saturday against Lincoln. I've had a look at head-to-head record, whether it's right or not. It says 4 matches we've played them, and they've drawn 2 and won 2. So we haven't won. October 22, the beat us 1-0 at Oakwell, and then last season it was 0-0 at their place. So they've got to draw again at their place this season. So
We're
yeah,
late goal. We're very late goal.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy, thinking it's a walkover. And they'll want, as I said, the 10th, they'll want to go and get some points on board. So it's going to be an interesting game, I think. And I hope we've learned from his mistakes in the last 2 games. And if they get free kicks, we set up. And if they get throw-ins, it's got to be something got to be ironed out on training pitch this week. That
It's almost make sure you don't switch off. Andy, have you got any inside information from your end which you can divulge for us here? Or are you going to keep the punters waiting? Is what I want to know.
No, I don't mind. No, I don't mind saying some things. The press high. Jake were very clear that their wing backs will press very, very high and try and cause problems for our back three, our 3 centre backs. The 2 wide centre backs. But of course, we've got wing backs as well. So that should be an interesting dilemma about our wing backs coming back and us pushing their wing backs back. That'll be an interesting battle, I think, on both sides wide. They've got Daniel Mandroyu, who, if you remember, went down for a penalty early on in the game that we played at their ground and drew 2-2 with by Jordan Williams sticking a toe in, and Mandrew, oh, look, and he's back. Mandrew, oh, down I've gone. Jordan Williams looked at him funny, just stuck a little toe out, and it were a penalty, I know. I'm just being facetious. And down he went like a good one. So get ready for him going down again. We'll see. Adam Jackson broke his nose against, according to Jake, I don't know, he didn't play last week because he broke his nose by Fleetwood's Jaden Stockley giving it some of that, according to Jake. I don't know, so he didn't play last week against Stevenage, but whether he'll be back or not, I don't know, because he's been their stalwart, as we know, stalwart in their defence. So hopefully he'll. I don't wish him any ill, but I hope he's not back on Saturday, because he's been immense against us. Maybe he's been immense in all games by the sounds of it. So, but we'll see. But yeah, they're unbeaten, absolutely unbeaten in 5 games, won 5, drawn 5. So they're feeling confident in their ability. I don't think, Jake don't think that they'll quite make the playoffs, since next year's a better test. And his prediction is that we will win 2-1. But it might be just trying a bit of kidology. It gave me a few ideas about where their weaknesses are. But you'll have to watch the away end for that.
Oh, I knew it was coming. I was waiting for the plug, the sting to keep
Oh,
people coming back.
It's worth every minute of it. It's particularly the introduction bit when I introduce him. It's well worth it.
Oh yeah, so if you are going to watch it, just watch the first 2 minutes and then turn it off. Apparently,
You have to watch Hotels.
you were doing so well on promoting it until you just told people to watch first minute and then turn it off.
No, don't turn it off. Just watch the first few minutes, and then you get drawn in, drawn in.
What
I'm
is
excited
interesting
to watch
about them though is the top scorer's only on 6, but they
it.
spread the
Mm.
goals around
They do.
pretty well.
They
You know,
do.
there's goals from midfield, out wide, up front. Even defenders get involved. So, you know, there's nobody that you can just like pin down. So it's gonna be
I'm
interesting.
furious about that because Lincoln have been a nightmare for my stats pack. I'm gonna have to have two people on top scorer, which is annoying, and I'm gonna have to have 45 different formations because I'm gonna striker and they've been
Well,
tweaking
I've
it.
got Akit Chair Fairchild on mine.
Yeah, I've got Fairchild on mine, which is a massive name, so maybe unfortunately might get dropped
I
for
mean,
Sorensen on 6.
if you remember when we played them at their ground, Jake was saying that they didn't have any strikers on the pitch. You know, they're playing midfielders up front because the strikers were injured. He's saying now that they've got the strikers back, such as Ben Houser's back, which is good for
Joe
them. Not,
Taylor as well. Yeah.
yeah, not so good for us. But he says it seems to be going in waves that a couple of their midfielders may well be injured. They don't know whether they'll play or not. So,
There's that
hopefully
Ethan Erhon who was in our under
he were
21s
ours.
about two
Yeah,
seasons
he
ago.
was. He was
Yeah.
decent player.
So he's been playing really well for them. I mean, they've been saying he's probably might be midfielder of the year in League One. So we'll
Oh,
see.
what sports Adam Phillips and David Kate been playing then this year? Badminton.
Well,
Must have been
hey, they don't look at Barnsley.
must have missed that. They've been playing cricket all year.
It is second against third in Farm League as well. So that
Yeah,
you know,
it is.
mm,
It's going to be a
Andy,
very interesting game.
but
I
just
think it's going to be an exciting game. My only worry, I know we're going to go on to, my only worry is that they've had a week off, so their young squad are not going to have tired legs. We put a lot of effort in last night, so
mm,
it's 3 days later, I know, but they're going to be absolutely shattered from that. Or 4 days.
do you know what I'd have done? I'd have
But
booked them all into Spa today, me. I'd have been like, right, lads, massages all round, you know, have a day off and then get back to it on Thursday.
me,
That's
me,
what
and,
I've been doing.
me and Ellen are feeling a bit tired and a bit achy. If you want to sort us out, Craig, just tell us where you booked us in. We'll be all right, won't we, Al?
Sunshine Spa, I've heard.
That's it.
Sunshine, that's
there
good.
we go.
It's good. Well, do you know, go to Sunshine Spa. If you didn't see it, look at our Christmas special, not this year before, and you're about to see Smithy's Hobbit feet. Sorry, Al. Couldn't help it, Al. Sorry, Al. Couldn't help it.
Let's go and watch a video from 18 months ago.
Well worth it to see the Hobbit feet. Sunshine Day Spa, one of our sponsors. Bless them.
Almost as exciting though as the game this weekend is the mini prediction league for this
Wow.
portion of the season is coming to an end.
Wow.
And as we alluded to at the start, it's not a foregone conclusion in this yet, is it, Andy?
It's not. It's close, and I've got some advice for one person at the very least.
Predict 2-1.
Well, what I'm going to say to you is that the last few there's three people at the top, not there. There's three people at the top in the mini one. There's Reese Pierce, who's a point in front of myself and Wayne Hamilton. Now we all three of us have been predicting 2-1. There's
No, you're not real people then
somebody
for
else
me.
that can come up
You're not the
behind
real winners.
and equal and draw at the top to go into a hat if it's not 2-1 or we don't win or wherever. But what I would say to Wayne Hamilton is Wayne Hamilton, I'll tell you now, Reese Pierce is going to predict 2-1. Don't predict somewhere else, Wayne, because if you predict 2-1, he's going to do, so you'll not be able to overtake him. Me, I don't care whether I overtake him or not because, I'm so far ahead. We're about 5 points ahead of the season league, which to me is the big one. So I'm not too bothered about that. But Reese Pace is at the top. But there's others that can catch up, but it's the last one. Don't forget, it continues throughout the whole season. There's a number of matches left, and there's still time to get up there on the season one. And there'll be another mini competition starting after the Lincoln game for the final. Don't know how many games it's going to include. It might just include 10 games. It might include 12 games. It might include 13 games, depending if we get automatic promotion, if it's the playoffs, if we get to the playoff final, or if we drop out completely. Who knows what's going to happen? So it could be out. It could be out. So, for this next game against Lincoln, get predicting. Get your eye in. Get your eye in ready. Don't if you ease off on this one, you'll not get back. Just imagine what Barnsley do. If we ease off 2-0 up, we ease off a bit, and you get lethargic with it, it's hard to then pick it back up. So keep going. You can do it.
Do you
But
know what
Wayne,
the funny thing
not 2-1, Wayne.
is? There's you, Reese, and Wayne, and 17 and 18 points. Somebody's got to break the mold and not go for 2-1 to try and.
Won't be me and Reese. That's why I'm trying to get Wayne to do it.
But that's what I mean. If he does
Wayne.
and somebody's. I mean, if you all stayed with the same thing, then the scoreboard's just going to stay the same. So
yeah, exactly.
Get ready. It's Hamilton time.
Exactly that, Al. Come on, Wayne. You can do it, Reese. I'm sorry, Reese. I'm still in your corner, so I shall still be going 2-1, Reese. Don't worry about that.
Oh, I don't know about Reese. He thought we should have had a pen against Wickham still from that O'Keefe thing. I'm still not convinced. I'm not convinced with that
Wayne
still.
were right. Wayne knows his onions. He knows what he's talking about.
I'll find it so funny if Reese bucks the trend and goes for a different prediction, and Wayne sweeps in with a 2-1, and we nick a 2-1 win.
Well, funnily enough, for Reese, if Reese does win, the prizes are going to come from our Red All Over online shop, and he's already bought a load of stuff from it. So you have to start thinking what you want to buy with it, Reese, if you're confident. Wayne, there's some great stuff coming up. A Wrong t-shirt, it's a winner. Apart from hotels, Wrong t-shirt, it's a winner. I'm getting one coming, and Craig needs to buy one because it'll fit him. In so many ways, it'll fit him.
Should be on his way down to mid-table at this point, shouldn't we, Craig? Not to bring it up again. If anyone mentioned that at any point.
Can I just say there were, and I feel for people. Can I just say there were 64 predictions the last game, so it's dropped off a little bit. 49 said Barnsley would win, 10 had said draw, 5 said we'd lose. So 10 got it right. There were 4 people that said 2-2. There were Tracy. Well done, Tracy. She sat on fence this time and it came good for her. Big Kev Beardsall said it. Peter Waddle said it, or Waddle. Tell me, Peter, I don't know which it is. And Jack Jepson. And Jack Jepson said he's never been so upset to be right about a score as much as this one. But what I also want to say is the 2-1 club, there were 21ers that were cheated out of victory. 21ers were cheated. So
I call it just desserts
again.
Yeah, it's been fun these last few weeks, but it's not been 2-1. Been nice to see.
Well, we're all right last week. It was a double 2-1, weren't it? It's this week.
There's no
what ref playing at? It was never a penalty. The referees cheated the 2-1 club. Never mind hotels.
That on it bit of solace I took from that. What fact it changed that score from 2-1.
I know. Can I also say one other thing that this week, or even today or tomorrow, depending when the show comes out, it's 6 months since Joe Beardsall left us, and gave the channel that he set up all those years ago in, I think, 2016, dragged Alan in, who then did the wrong thing and dragged me in and you in. And then we've dragged 2 years ago, dragged Craig in. So, it's 6 months ago, and, we still speak to him and wish him well and have a lot to do with him. I'm going to meet up with him very, very shortly. So I just want to say thank you, Joe, for everything that you did over all those years, both on the radio at Dern FM, but then when we became a YouTube show in 2000, and you still owe me a drink.
And we're keeping his ship sailing, lads. That's right.
The good ship Beardsall. It'll run me and you are running to ground somewhere along the line, Al.
Yeah, we're just waiting for that day to come.
It'll sink soon, Al. It'll start sinking, Al.
And it'll be children off first, which I think I classify as a child, so I'll be the first one off to make sure that I'm safe. So you two can just drag Craig down.
I like that, Kevin McAllister.
Women and children first. Put Tracy off first. Women and children off first.
Yeah, don't worry. Me and Tracy will be straight off.
Tracy will be still sat up fence.
Don't forget Jane.
They'll be sat up fence, Al.
We'll just be watching you three.
Jane and Jack will be off with you, won't they?
They will.
We'll be watching you three just drag it down and
Oh,
to the
listen,
bottom.
we've been dragging it down for 2 years, mate. Years, me and Al. Certainly the last few months. We drag everything down.
We've seen. Right, predictions. Craig, what you thinking?
Well, I'm gonna go with the optimistic part of me that thinks this is gonna light a real fire under our lads, and I think we're gonna put them to sword a bit. I'm gonna say 3-1
Ooh,
Nice.
win. Yeah.
interesting. I like that you're going into your own stats as well, that they're not conceding many.
Well, that's it. I think they might get one because I think they are good on the counter and they're pretty deadly. But I just think our lads are going to have such a fire lit under them. They're just going to steamroll anybody we play now.
They've
I
only
think they're just going
conceded
to
one
face
in
the
6 games,
backlash
though, haven't they? They conceded one in 6 games, you
in
said, Craig.
five games.
5 games.
But
And we're going to
it
get
don't matter.
three.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
we are because we
go on,
need to.
Craig.
We're
Get
going to
them
smash them.
told.
Yeah,
Let's have it.
I
Get them
like
told.
it.
Happy, Craig,
It's
happy.
it's all right, and they've got a fan called Jake on another YouTube channel that really doesn't like to say Barnsley's in with a chance unless he's forced to.
Oh, he predicted when we played, he were on Codsvogs with Ben. He predicted that we were going to win 2-1.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm talking about 4 weeks back, three
All right.
weeks back. They were like, "Oh, I can't see it happening, can't see it happening," and I wouldn't chat, and I was like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it, we're gonna beat Derby," and they were like, "Oh, I don't know," but
Well,
we can go.
I'll tell you what, Craig. Watch the away end show when it comes up because somebody in his family gets called a wrong one. So just
Ooh,
watch for that.
I will.
interesting. Al, what's your prediction?
Oh, I was going same as Craig, 3-1, but now I'm going 4-0.
Hey,
I'm going 4-0.
did you?
Have you got?
Have
You
you?
back on whiskey?
I know it's a bit late, but
4-0.
He's just listened to my speech. He's passionate and he knows I'm
it
right.
must have skipped over a bit when Andy went. They've conceded one in five.
Ah, but that's old games. That don't matter.
Records can be
Also,
broken.
aren't we
They've
almost
had
breaking
more
his own
penalties.
record at the minute of
Right?
games that we've scored in?
Can we just say that the I mean, three of them games were against Exeter, Port Vale, and Shrewsbury.
Don't
The other
start on
two being
Exeter.
Hang on a minute.
Stevenage.
Two of them three we didn't keep a clean sheet against.
No, but I'm just saying it's not like it were the top tier talent in this division.
Well, yeah, but
You know,
Well,
I was saying that
we
though,
do
but
a clean
we
sheet.
didn't
Come
do it.
on. We do a clean sheet, aren't we? Come on.
Alan, you
Have
said that
some
every
faith in
show.
Robert.
You can't, Alan. You'll be saying it. You'll be saying it every game till end of the season. We do one. We've been doing one for ages.
We started off 7-0, so why can't we have a 4-0?
Fair
all
enough.
right,
Andy,
They're
if
a
I'm
young.
going, if I oh sorry, if I'm just going to say this, if I'm going with a stat right, saying that they've only conceded one goal in 5 games, also we've scored in 24 consecutive games in the league as well. So that's just to counteract it.
No, that's just jinxing it.
it
You're
sounds
just
like it. It
jinxing
sounds
it.
like it needs to end this weekend.
God,
Is what it
dear me.
sounds like.
Listen, they're a young side. They're getting people's faces. They've got a lot of energy. They press well, and we're going to be shattered from the incredible efforts we did Tuesday night last night. We'll be absolutely shattered. So it's going to be one of them. If they score late goals, they don't concede many, so it's going to be backs to the wall again. I can see us hopefully getting in front before then start putting us under pressure. And this time we get a referee that don't give soft penalties and that Mandroyu don't fall over in box again or anybody else, Ben House or any others don't fall that. So they don't get a late penalty or a last minute goal or even a first minute penalty, whatever. So 2-1.
Yep.
Don't care how fit they are, 2-1. They're going down.
Newt will come in. Newt will come in.
Another day at the office, Josh. 2-1.
Yep.
But we're going to score 2 goals, and they've only conceded one in 5 games, haven't
Well,
Yeah.
they? See,
Needs to be more realistic
I've
like
only
I
said
am.
one more than you.
He needs to be more realistic like me and who thinks we're going to lose 1-0.
Really?
Yeah, I think I'm the opposite of it's going to light a fire in your belly, in his belly and feet because we've played roughly 45 minutes with the pressure actually on us of that second half yesterday was the first time that's in our control. That's in our hands now that we can go on and win and get automatic, and we failed. And I think that was my biggest takeaway from yesterday's game is that it seems like the pressure of the occasion, because it's very easy to be the ones that are confident and the pressure's not on you. The pressure on Bolton yesterday to get a result, and they needed to win. Whereas in that second half, it had flipped, that we were in the commanding position and we struggled. And I think that's the weight of that will take a bit of time to go over. So I'm going Lincoln 1-0.
Do you know what, Al? When Joe were doing it 6 months ago when he stopped, as I've mentioned, Josh weren't. It were Mr. Miserable, weren't it? It were like the antipathy of Joe with his happy clapping. And then when Joe went, and in this respect, he did us a favour by going. Josh took over hosting the main show, the preview shows and what have you like this. And he turned, didn't he, Al? He started becoming Mr. Positive. And it was nice to see, wasn't it? We saw the real Josh, or what we thought were the real Josh, rather than the miserable sod that he was when Joe were here. And these last two games, we're going to lose against Bolton 2-1. We're going to lose. It's turned, Al. It's turned again.
It's that water. It's that Lancashire water. It's turned him.
It's all
from
about
dark
balance.
satanic mills, Al. It's from all. It's those.
It's all about balance. It's balance. Would
Yeah,
you?
When we win 4-0, look, you'll say you're right, Al.
I'm giddy. I am giddy.
You look at me. You look really
giddy
giddy.
to see that.
Oh, it's your birthday.
To see your reaction to that.
It's happy birthday, Josh, as well.
Oh yeah,
it is. Thank you
I hope
very
you don't
much.
open your presents with that face.
What? That's if he gets any.
No, yeah, it's very bold. It's a big claim.
I'd be giving a lump of coal at this rate.
What do you think Mum and Dad have got me? That's all I get. Lump of coal. There you go. That'll do you, ain't it? You'll be
Stop
happy.
buying me presents when I was 16.
Well, I bought you 3 points on Saturday, so enjoy them, Josh. You won't get a defeat. I bought you 3 points.
I'm surprised you've not going to ruin it for everyone and gone in box for us, Al. So it's a nailed on loss when you do that. Right, we will be back on Saturday with a instant reactions show to Lincoln City, and then do we play on Tuesday again?
Yeah,
again.
Carlisle away.
I thought it was. So we'll be back then on Sunday morning with our Carlisle preview. There's so many shows coming out of these last few days. Make sure you go and watch them all. The one which Tom did with Kieran Maguire is brilliant in terms of getting that insight into the financial aspect inside of football as well. Andy's away and it's coming out as well on Thursday. There's an instant reaction show on Saturday. There's a preview on Sunday. You've got nearly 7 days worth of Red Oliver content coming your way over the next week. So if that doesn't whet your appetite, I don't know what will.
Just want to say how well Tom did as well in that video. It was his first ever video, and I think he did brilliantly.
He did. The
man behind the camera.
Fantastic.
The man behind the camera.
The camera guy.
Silent Tom became
face for radio.
There's
Just
always
like us all, really, isn't it?
Right. Obviously, Andy's Way In show will be out on Thursday, and then we'll be back on your screens on Saturday. We'll see you later, you Reds.